Welcome to another episode of Modern Black Man Podcast. I am joined by Doug. What's good, Big Doug?
What's going on, bro? How you doing?
Man, I'm blessed. I'm not going to complain. I know it's a lot going on in the world, and I'm just glad you made a little time so we could talk about it.
Yeah, I can dig it, man. I say we get right into it.
I'm ready to dive in. I'm ready to trade songs with it. We're going to talk about Degeneration X, this new class of humans. Share your
Yeah.
thoughts.
So, quick little anecdote. A couple days ago, I was taking Junior over to the orthodontist, right? And so while we were driving, he asked me this random question. He goes, "Dad, would you be scared if uh we had to go to war with um Generation X?" And I'm like, I said, I had to ask him what he meant. And essentially what he meant is if Generation X and Z and whatever they calling themselves these days, if they were the ones that were the soldiers, would that make me worry? And
I hope you say
I was
yes.
like, actually, my answer was that I'm only petrified, like, because I think that's the scariest thought on earth is somebody that cares about what people think about them or what they refer to them as would be the same person that's meant to protect my country. I don't get that.
I'm glad you
Yeah,
came up with it. This has been my concern for the last 3 years.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and the funny part about it is like I doubt you even know what goes on bases these days, man. Like, I mean, I live on an Air Force base, right? And you'd never know it was an Air Force base if you didn't know what the uniform was. Like, it might as well they might as well be civilians in uniform, bro.
Because
You
we're
know what I'm
making the
saying?
whole world civilian, even our military installations.
Well, I mean, we're making the individual matter in
Mm.
relationship to the military, right? Like the individual matters so much more rather than the mission or the unit, which is the military I grew up in, right? But
Hmm.
um I don't even think that that's the only problem. I think the main problem for, let's say, um our culture is the fact that we allow degeneracy to be okay. We even promote it and then pretend like it's a problem when say like a politician um makes it seem like it's cool, right?
Mm.
Like uh like what do I mean? So what's that one rapper chick name? I think her name is like Sexy Red or something like that.
You talking about that gal from St. Louis? That be talking
Yeah, I
about
don't
some
know.
skiing?
Yeah, I don't know where she's from, but
Yeah.
what I do know is, like, I remember was seeing a video of her going into being invited to some high school. Now, why you would invite this girl to your high school, I am sure I don't know, but
Because she relates to the kids. That's what this generation wants to represent them.
yeah, but ain't that don't that scare you just a tad?
More than,
Don't that
more
scare
than
you
a
just a
tad.
tad?
Is that the radio?
I think Vicky is. She had the radio on. I can't in the car.
But yeah, it scares me very much because our entertainers are more powerful than our politicians. Our young people know more about those industries than anything else. They aspire for this and nothing else.
Well, yeah, I think the main issue is obviously when if it comes to black people, then it's fatherless homes, right? Because
Oftentimes,
you don't have a consistent control of the kid, right? The kid ain't scared of nothing because he
I
get
got a
old
lot
enough.
of confidence, Doug.
Well, yeah, I mean, he
A
or
lot
she
of
get old enough, they're not scared of mommy no more. And then mommy, she really
Mhm.
don't do nothing but sit around herself, so she's not really teaching them nothing.
I
So
just think that everyone has gotten to the point of sensitivity, and we value sensitivity over substance. It matters more how you talk to people than what you tell them. As long as you deliver the blows softly, you'll be tolerated. That's our society in a nutshell.
yeah, and I don't know. I find it weird because I don't think that people at this point even understand like how the rest of the world laughs at us as a country nowadays. Like we're not taken seriously no more.
Hegemony is gone. Hegemony, however you want to pronounce it. And that's why we're falling back on the leaderboard. That's why China is roaring and they're growing and we're fading and we're failing.
That's a fair statement. That's a fair statement. But you got to really, if I bring it closer to home, it all necessarily just goes back to a strong role model at home is way more. Uh, I don't know. It's way more
Productive.
important. It's yeah, productive, fine, but it's a lot more important than what I mean, who we find on TV, because I remember when I was younger, somebody like Al Sharpton was somebody that we probably would give a thumbs up to, right?
Jesse
Um,
Jackson told me I am somebody.
or even I think that's who I meant. I think I meant Jesse Jackson because I
Mhm.
know Al Sharpton has always been a fool. Right? Um,
It's authority that you're talking to, or hinting at right now. We cannot have authority in spaces as masculine identifying people. The world undermines this.
yeah, they. I heard Cat Williams say something recently. He said, "When's the last time you seen a man with a that wasn't successful wearing a dress on a movie? Like that movie wasn't successful because the man was wearing a dress." You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? Like we've gotten to the point where our men aren't even respected. Like they are, it's even in the industry, they're not respected unless they're willing to put on a dress. You know what I'm saying? So
But what about
and
that dress? Why does that sell the way that it does? It's a tolerable criticism of the feminine energy of our communities because we can make light of these things as long as we don't make change.
I don't know how to make light of it. I don't know how to pretend like it don't matter, right? Like
That
even
men wear
somebody
dresses
just
and we have to take
yeah,
them seriously.
I don't know how to I don't know how to take Tyler Perry seriously. I don't know how to take
Have you
uh
seen Mia Culpa?
who?
Mia Culpa, his latest film on Netflix. He's not wearing a
I
dress in it. I don't think he's in it at all. The issues of the movie really are plot related. It's driven by Kelly Rowland and Trevante Rhodes. I think
I
that
seen
they,
previews of it. I never actually watched it though.
yeah. My point is just that that energy, that masculinity, it doesn't sell. That's not what people want. We need it in our
No.
real lives, but as far as entertainment, I don't think we're going to see that for a while.
Yeah, and I mean that's why the box office for movies these days never do any good. You know what I'm saying? Like even Disney can't even make their money back in movies no more.
if I'm not mistaken, YouTube is the largest streaming service in the world. They've eclipsed Netflix, and Disney is running behind them because of content that they've been making for 70 plus years. That's
Okay.
the landscape. That's where we are, and that's what time it is in 2024. The content that sells, the things that gravitate towards, we'll call them zennials, um, it's destroying or deconstructing everything that's been built previously. And I don't disagree with everything that they're doing, but some of the things that they're removing have incredible value to our society.
What do you agree with?
I mean, I don't think that gender roles are necessarily hard etched, but that doesn't mean that I need everything to be androgynous, if that makes sense.
Not really.
Okay. There is a male role, there's male dichotomies and there's female dichotomies. I don't think that the two are mutually exclusive. I absolutely believe that there is huge value in women. I think that women have strength that men cannot replicate, but that also applies to men. I'm disappointed when I watch action films now. If you haven't noticed, everyone that's a traditional action star or action hero is a geriatric. Young guys, they're not built the same. And I'm not trying to demean them. I'm just saying that our gender roles have changed significantly. Let's talk specifically about the equalizer with Queen Latifah. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I never really watched it because I mean I don't see how you can go from Denzel to Queen Latifah.
The action is what I'm critical
So I
of.
mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like
Have you
there's
seen
no
her
way you're gonna
action?
convince me that Queen Latifah can fight and beat up a bunch of guys at the same time. I just don't. I don't
Well, we're
see that
talking about
happening.
traditional. We're talking about traditional gender roles. Girls can do anything, but it isn't gonna
That's
look
not
the
true.
same. Well, let's talk about
That's not true,
this.
man. I don't.
Look
See,
at
that's what I'm saying. I don't want to play the devil's advocate just for views. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that women can do everything. No, they cannot.
well, it's about strength and it's about size, and
Well, it's
that's where
not
I'm
about strength
critical.
or size. It's just about
Mm.
pure honesty. Men can't do everything women can do, and men can't do everything, and women can't do the same. Like they can't. We. That's why there's only two genders because there's. It's so easy to separate the two.
Mm.
You don't have to really give a lot of thought because there I can name 10 things off of my head right now that I just cannot I can't do as a man. Mm.
You know, when I was a kid, and probably when you were a kid, I used to love to wear He-Man underwear. I used to love to play with my little He-Man sword, and I had energy, right? Look at a
Okay.
classroom today of little boys, what they're taught and how they act. I think as a father, you probably could identify some androgyny.
I mean I don't know like because Junior goes to school on base. He's probably sheltered from a lot of the nonsense that kids go through in public schools these days. And plus, since we in Alaska, it's even better for me as a conservative father that I don't have to worry about a lot of the nonsense that you would probably have to worry about if you sent your kid to a school.
Yeah. What about your daughter? How do
My
you, as a
daughter's great.
father, as a father of a young girl, how do you feel about her being put into possible traditionally male roles?
I don't never see that occurring because I don't. There. See, that's what I'm saying. Back to the father in the home scenario. The reason
Mhm.
why I don't have to worry about stuff like that is because she has more respect for me than she would more than likely have for society, right?
Absolutely.
So what I mean by that is until further notice, what I say is pretty much law.
She's a baby, so yeah, that goes. But as she develops and has more experiences, how do you feel you would handle um, her kind of leaning towards traditionally male things? You just said a girl can't do everything that a boy can do, right?
Right.
What if she likes to wear male clothes? And I'm not, I'm just saying, what if she does those things that are traditionally male? How do you
So
respond to that as a conservative
there's the
father?
thing, like she doesn't, she'll never have that opportunity under
Mm,
my roof. Now, if she decides to do that when she grown, I mean, what can I can't stop her if she grown. She's
yeah,
not living in my house, but
yeah.
if she in my house, more than likely, we're buying her clothes. You know what I'm saying? We're spending the money on clothes. I'm not going to go out and buy things just because she's going through a phase. No, why would I do that?
I just think it's
That would
really
that,
easy to see in elementary school how the kids are they're being prepared for a world that might be absent of the energies that we had when we were that same age.
yeah, I mean that's why that's why I do enjoy the I do find value in Junior being able to go to school on base because he doesn't have to see the degeneracy off base. Like for instance, when we were living in DC, I worried a lot when he went
Mm,
to school. I worried a lot, and it wasn't even about let's say how safe it was in reference to just overall safety things that go on outside the gate because we in DC, right? But it was
yeah.
more along the lines of the ideologies that may have been going through the teachers' minds. But I would say because of the school was predominantly black employed, that was something also I didn't have to worry about. Because I will say one thing, like majority wise, black people don't necessarily agree with the nonsense that goes on the road. They
Mm.
don't necessarily do stuff like that. Like I mean, you might find somebody that says they don't have no problem with somebody being gay, but they won't turn and say the same thing about their child. You might find somebody that says if you want to call yourself a girl, you can call yourself a girl, but that doesn't mean they necessarily agree with it or would allow or even be comfortable with their child doing it. You know what I'm
So
saying? Black
Dwayne
people are,
Wade's son,
well, I think
he's
Dwayne Wade was, I think with reference to him, he coached his son into
mm,
living the life that he didn't get to live when he was a kid. Because I mean, Dwayne Wade wants to be a woman, but he makes so much money as a man that he'll just be the woman in bed and just let dudes go up in him.
what?
And I just,
Okay. I
oh,
mean,
you didn't know he came out like that?
I know Shannon Sharp, Diddy, and Dwayne Wade are always under attack, and I just see the world becoming more androgynous. I don't need to talk about them negatively, but I absolutely see that the foundation has changed. With that being said, I feel like he allows, as a father of transitioning young person, I think it can be highly controversial that he
He's
is
not a
preparing
father,
a
man.
young,
He's a dad. He's just a dad. He's not a father.
yeah.
He's not a father. And I mean, I say that with all, I mean, I don't care how it would make him feel if I said it to his face. You're not a father if you're not willing to lead your children the right way. He's just a dad.
And our households have evolved to this, whether it's the single father, like Dwayne Wade was for years, or the single mother, because adjusting to the world, I feel, is the new norm. Instead of having what we used to call backbone at home that was led by the father, it's now a survival mechanism.
Yeah, they're weak. They're scared of what people might think.
They're influenced. Nothing
Yeah,
matters to people
I
more
don't
than
shed
how
a
they're
tear.
perceived.
Right, right. I think. I think if it were not for my wife, I would say a lot of stuff out here that would get me in trouble more than likely.
I know you would. That's why I wanted to have a conversation with you because there's a lot of degeneracy in our society, and we've created it. We allow it, we support it, and it's only going to grow. Do you
Yeah, I
feel
mean,
that?
I figure it's gonna get a lot worse before it gets any better. Um, but so here's the thing, and this may move the subject just a little bit to the left or right, depending on how you look at it. But
Mhm.
um, okay, so depending on how we as a country end up voting, let's just say it like that, will determine how the military is built. It will determine how the economy is run, and it will determine how people spend their money.
Absolutely.
So, so what I mean by that is having a strong military would, allow people to sleep a lot better at night because they know that their freedom is being cared for. But
Protected.
at, yeah, well, at this apparent moment, yeah, I would say it makes sense for people to be extremely nervous if we do end up getting into conflict.
Mm. So you think Donald Trump or a conservative president nominee would save our country?
I'm absolutely sure of it,
Tell me
without
more about
without any
that.
shadow of a doubt. So I think, okay, so first off, my biggest pet peeve are are black people that don't know the truth because they decided that because somebody's white, they just rather just believe a lie, right? So, um, fact of the matter is most black people are conservative at heart, and they'd rather be it become a political statement, but it's not a political statement to say somebody's conservative. Somebody being conservative is someone that has traditional values that they prefer to keep intact.
Mm.
It has nothing to do with politics, because quite honestly, my politics can sway left and right depending on what we're talking about. It
Right.
can swing one way or the other. But when it comes to my values, I'm going to be completely conservative because there's some things about life that I don't feel we should be liberal about. And therein lies the difference. So yes, I believe conservatives will save our country, and that's only if we can. One for one, I think that our biggest downfall is media, Hollywood, uh, our music, rap, rock and roll. These things are detrimental to a culture.
When you say
I
detrimental to the
mean,
culture,
if
you
you
mean that they undermine or eliminate respectability or authority?
you said, I'm sorry, kind of cut out.
No, I said, do you feel that this contributes, this degeneracy, this delinquency,
You try to
to
get me the package.
undermining authority, or do you feel that it just takes away from credibility, respectability? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, well, I mean, think about it, man. Why would somebody like I don't know. Let's just throw blue. What's it? What that kid call himself? Blueface or something like that?
You like color
Why why
rappers,
why
Sexy
why
Red and
why?
Blueface.
Yeah, but just tell me why either one of them are relevant in today's conversation. Because if you
Mm.
ask me, if you ask me, neither one of these two would be somebody you would bring home to show mom or dad. You wouldn't no, a dude wouldn't bring Sexy Red home to show off to their mom and show their mom the woman that he's going to be with for the duration of his life. And nobody can get or is going to get me to understand why somebody like Blueface is worth time or oxygen. I mean, he openly beats his girlfriend to the point where she got used to just having a snag or two. Like she got money, won't even go get a tooth fixed. Like go put a tooth right there. You know what I'm saying? But like
I
he
don't know
probably,
what happened to her tooth, but that
there's nobody that could convince me he didn't knock that tooth out.
she from Maryland.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But yeah, her, getting on these TV shows, selling out for media, and having no foundations of values, morals. Uh, I think that's just indicative of where we are in time. The prospect of providing for a family seems really rare. I think there are way more hardworking single mothers because they're motivated to stay in that situation and to preserve themselves because that's where their pride comes from. The thought of a woman working and her man being a stay at home probably terrifies more women than surviving domestic violence.
That's crazy, huh?
It's true.
Yeah, they read. I don't even know how that works. It's quite honestly, I can't bring myself to do it.
We've
Yeah,
evolved and we've gotten rid of our traditional gender roles. When we were kids, I think we wanted to be heroes, police officers, firefighters, soldiers. And these youngest kids, when they grow up, they want to be social media influencers, hip hop artists, and athletes because we've shown them through our economic vote this is who we value the most.
yeah, yeah. It's weird. But like I said, like if today's youth look up to the kind of people that we just talked about, there's no way an American can feel safe in this world.
Mm.
There's no way because even if I were still in the army, I wouldn't know how to lead somebody like that into becoming a man.
You're disqualifying them from a lack of ability
I
or motivation.
disqualify them. I disqualify them from a lack of most things. More than importantly, their responsibility. I mean, they don't want the responsibility. Like they're changing rules in the military now just so people can just be happy with themselves. That's what I was talking about earlier.
Mm.
They're more concerned with the individual being happy than they are with the mission being complete. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think I think that if we hadn't have withdrew out of Iraq when we, as far back as we did, and Afghanistan when we did, we'd be in trouble right now, bro. Because
We'd be losing the war.
yeah, we'll be spreading ourselves really thin.
That's why they made those calls. I mean, our fighting force doesn't really have the same fight, do they?
No, nor do they have the same, like, I would say, motivation to even get into the military. Like, I wouldn't say that the majority of people I walk around and see on the base I live on are patriotic at all. I think they just have a job, and I think they went after the benefits, or they
Absolutely.
they or they go after the job security. But I don't think they're patriotic at all. I don't think they would put their life on the line for a country.
Don't you take
Um,
an oath to be in the military to protect this country from all
yeah,
enemies, both
yeah.
foreign
I
and
mean,
domestic?
but see, that's. So here's the thing about when you're given an oath, most times, if not all, every time, you're repeating after someone else, right?
Mm.
So when a person is given that oath, they're literally just repeating, regurgitating what they just heard. They don't have to believe it. They don't even have to feel it. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? But I do remember back in 2005 when I had enlisted for the first time, when I was sitting there listening to what I was saying, I was really kind of trying to convince myself that okay, you're gonna have to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have to do this. And I mean, It's honestly, it is a scary thought if you really pay attention to what the oath you're giving, as especially as an enlisted person.
Yeah. They don't call them GIs anymore. They just call them Joes.
They don't call them Joes. They call them troops, or and sometimes they could refer to them as soldiers. But I don't know, man. Last time I went on an army base, everybody was just sitting around and like they were, nobody was outside doing PT. I mean, weather didn't stop me when I was in Alaska. We was out here running every day.
This
So
is the new military.
yeah, they're soft, bro. They soft.
Our world is soft. Literally, everything has been given a guardrail, and the intensity of things has gone down significantly. If our military follows suit, that's our national security, and that's why we feel this way.
Yeah, and that's why I feel this way. That's for sure. Because there ain't no national security. It's just
Mm.
national. I don't feel the security. I don't feel security at all. I feel like whoever you want to bring up, if they decided to invade or they decided to attack, uh, it'd be up to it'd be up to those men that wasn't willing to give up their guns. You know what I'm saying?
To
To
protect
defend
us.
to defend their own household, because they wouldn't be able to rely on the military.
I think that's a real concern. If this country were invaded, I think that there would be great fight. I think that there would be large victory, massive victory, but there would be those outliers. There would be those homes where there's no protection and they're needing those men with those guns to protect them. And I don't think that those men with those guns want to protect everybody, which is the difference and most likely why we need a military.
I'm not saying we don't need a military. I'm saying that the
I
military we
know.
got ain't gonna do much good after the Air Force has done all they can. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm not talking about the whole military as a whole. I'm talking about, the I would say the enlisted for sure, right? Like, if they don't have like some critical position, like a um, infantry, or they're not in the Marines, or they're not a pilot.
Special
I'm talking.
units.
I'm talking about, just your regular run of the mill troop. You know what I'm saying? All these
Mm.
cats is concerned with is going on leave again. They not thinking about the mission. They're definitely not worried about war because they never actually had to see
Right.
it. So
So, with that being said, it definitely sounds like you don't think our military is prepared. Are they at least organized?
nah, not from what I've seen.
So,
Not from
who's
what
going
I.
to bail us out? I mean, we always call on Jesus, but when they hit the ground and they have troops and there are bullets flying, how are we going to defend ourselves? How are we going to save ourselves? How are we going to get out of that situation?
We're going to have to vote somebody else in the office. That's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to. We need. See, it all starts from the top. You need a real leader. Okay, so if your leader is laughed at around the world, then they're the leaders of the other countries are motivating their troops even more. Just, I mean, look at who's leading them. You don't have to worry. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to worry. You're going to succeed. It's easy to create propaganda from another country's standpoint right now because of
Mm-hmm.
people that just have to vote left just because they black.
I don't think that black voters are voting as blindly as we criticize them for voting. I really don't believe that. I think that people are more self-interested than ever, and we can see that selfishness, and it's reflected through the weakening of institutions we need.
Yeah, I disagree. I think black people vote based on their emotion. I think black people have voted based on their racism.
Hmm.
Um, I think black people have voted based on classism. Black people don't vote based on politics. If they would, Republicans would have been in office as long as me and you have been alive. Because
Mm.
and I say that I could say that with a straight face because there's no black person on this in this country right now that would prefer to have an open border and understand what that means, right? Because if you have an open border, that means that employers can drive down wages, and then people that let's say somebody that works at In and Out in California, right?
Hmm.
In and Out, I think, is the highest paid uh, fast food place in the country, or
It's
at
one
least in
of. They
Cali,
give their workers a
at,
living
le-
wage.
at least in California for sure, right?
Okay.
But if the country has an influx of migrants, then that employer can drive down their own cost of employment so that, and guess who gets fired, or guess who doesn't keep that job, because I'm not going to work for 5 an hour, but he
No.
will.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
Happily.
right. So and that's not just as a that's not even just being black. That's just being American. Like, I'm not, as an American, I'm not, you're not about to have me working 8 hours and only pay me $10 an hour,
But these
right?
same people that we're talking about that used to fill a void in the space with these jobs, they're getting higher paying jobs, and they do often come with skills. I don't know if you've ever seen the construction crew, but it's less people that look like us in these crews. Every single time I see them passing by the highway, and only getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm half Mexican, so I don't have any issues with Mexicans. I don't have
Right.
any, but we, and what you also have to be honest with ourselves is, it ain't just Mexicans that are coming through the border right now. You got they got Chinese people coming through the border. They got Middle Eastern people coming through the border. They got Africans coming through the border. They got everybody just coming through the border.
You said
And I
Chinese.
I do believe some of them are seeking asylum, but I don't think that a person that um, is um, soldier age male needs asylum. I don't. I think that you need to go make it work in your own country. That's me personally. I mean, I just don't see why, like, I have to use taxpayer dollars to fund somebody that needs to be able to pull their own self up out of their own bootstraps. I'm not talking about the woman that comes across with her kid because she's trying to get out of a country that is persecuting her because she's a Christian, or that is just harmful to women or whatever. I'm talking about, war age males. Like, why did you do? I don't know if black people watch actual news, but if they saw what I see, I just don't understand why you would not be upset at the amount of people that are flooding the border. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand how that's a problem. But that's just one issue. You also got um, you also have um, school choice, right? Most, if not all, black people should be in favor of school choice, because why would you want your kid to go to school in the hood if he don't have to, right? Like, why would you want to set your
To
child up
support
for
your local
failure?
community and local teachers in that community, right?
Well, that's a foolish statement, bro. Because who cares about anybody else when it comes to your kids? Who cares
Mm.
about anybody else? When it comes to my kid, the only person I'm worried about at the school is my kid. I ain't worried about somebody that decided to work there because she knew that she could get higher tenure because she's working at an underdeveloped and underperforming school. If the school ain't performing, why do I want to send my kid there? I don't. I want to send my kid to a school that, you know, everybody is striving for A's. They're not just trying to get out of class as soon as possible.
You want something that will serve as a springboard for your young person to go somewhere else and better.
Right, but I also want, I mean, but what I'm saying is when it comes to somebody being able to choose their school, you know what I'm saying, I have that ability to send him to a school in, you know, in Palos Verdes versus sending him to a school in Compton.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, if rather than me giving my money to uh, a bureaucracy, the money comes directly to me as a parent, and I'll pay for private school. Why wouldn't I? You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't I pay for private school?
Definitely. I just think that we have a lot of improvements to make.
Yeah, but it ain't gonna start with my son. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. When it comes to a person voting based on issues that apply to them, they're not going to vote with their heart. They're going to vote with their mind. They're going to vote based on what their need is as a voter, right?
Right.
So if I want my kid to go to a school that is performing well, I'm going to vote for school choice.
It's a no-brainer. Absolutely. I
Right.
appreciate you bringing up the topic because I see this way too often and I don't know what's going to get us out of it.
But yeah, I mean, I think I mean, what else? What else is what's another hot topic? Um, Abortion, right? Now that's going to be a driving force of this next election. But
Yeah,
um,
heavy.
funny,
Major.
here's some numbers for you. All right, 97% of all abortions are done by choice, right? And they're because of the choice to have sex. Then you have a very small, less than 1% of those that do abortion because they were, let's say, raped, or
Hmm.
something of that nature. But the overall majority of these people that are having abortions that are sucking the life blood out of this world, especially out of the black community, might I mention, the overwhelming majority of people that get abortion are black women. So you stand the question of asking why did Martha Zinger and her colleagues come up with this idea? And her words would be absolute, you know, when it comes to wondering why, because she believed that this would be a good way to keep dumb people or less desirable people off this earth, is by convincing them that they just, you know, can get rid of the baby. Right.
Love that you referred to Margaret Sanger. Um, Again, St. Louis. Eugenics is something that she pioneered, and it's very real. You see it
Yeah.
in Planned Parenthood to this day, the legacy that it's left. So,
Think about it
absolutely.
this way. Here's another one. What they don't tell you. This is how they dress it up. They call it they call it women's health.
Healthcare.
They call it health care. They call it reproductive rights.
Yep.
There is no reproduction if the baby gets killed.
There's no rights for the father.
Well, no. See, that's a little further on in the conversation, but I just want to just talk about abortion itself, right?
Okay.
Because there's no, how do you call it reproductive health if there's no reproduction? You're stopping reproduction, right?
Yeah.
You're halting reproduction. Okay. So another thing that they don't tell you is the overwhelming majority of women that actually receive sonograms,
Hmm.
they don't go along with they don't go along with the abortion, because when they see the sonogram, they see that there's an actual baby in there,
Yeah.
right? However, up until that point, let's just say she just found out that she was pregnant at 6, 7 week mark, right? She doesn't realize that it's a fully formed baby in there. Yes, he may be the size of a grape, but he is still a baby in there, right? And what they do is they come to the point where now they want to call it um, a fetus,
Yeah.
not knowing that that's just a I believe it's a, I can't think of the actual language fetus is, but it's foreign for small baby, a small
Yeah.
person, small human, right? It's not a different life form. It's still a human being. So
And what
so
about the
the,
rights of the child?
and there you have it. I mean, so the problem is what these people have gotten misconstrued is because the baby is forming in the mom's womb that she has the right to do with her body what she will, right? But that doesn't give her the right to kill somebody else because the baby has its own DNA. That means it's its own life form, which means you don't have the right to murder. So I heard somebody ask the
Yeah.
question of who's the murderer? Is it the abortionist or is it the mother? I say she's complicit. I say they both complicit,
Yeah.
right? I'd say that they both deserve to be in prison because of the simple fact that
How did say that?
I mean, if put it like this, if I'm a getaway driver for a robbery, do I not have to go to jail too if we're caught?
If you're caught, yeah. Well, if they snitch
Exactly.
on you,
Yeah, I mean, in fact, I'm just saying, if we're caught,
yeah,
everybody goes to jail. You're complicit, even if you didn't rob the bank,
you're an accessory.
right? So you call her accessory to the murder if you want to, but the fact of the matter is, she allowed it to happen.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was forced onto her. She signed paperwork and she laid down and she laid on a table and spread her own legs while she watched a man literally rip a baby apart
Not
inside of her.
always a man. There's female abortionists.
I don't care. You call it what you want to call it. I don't. I mean that doesn't. Okay, fine. So that's one thing that men and women can both do.
Yeah.
They both can murder.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So fact of the matter is, if you have you ever watched an abortion occur?
I think I've seen one of those creepy videos on the internet, right? Where they show, we'll call it a fetus.
Hmm.
Make sure you're having that conversation with people.
Oh, okay,
You know, but you want to have that conversation with somebody else.
gotcha.
And then when you're on the clock, that room is vacuum, and so does the walkway in between that room, all the way up to where those guys are. We got a lot of salt.
Okay,
So when you're on the clock, but make sure you watch your door because that conversation.
okay,
Conversation. Thank you.
no problem.
We need to reconnect.
Yeah, we gonna have to reconnect, bro.
Not a problem. I appreciate the time.
All right, bro. Well, yeah, I'll let you go. We can pick this up another time. Um, but yeah, I fact of the matter is murder, no matter where the person is when it happens. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Geography don't determine if a person was killed lawfully or not.
I agree.
All right, bro. Well, I'll let you go.
All right. I appreciate you. Till next time.
All right,
Peace.
then.